This newest Superman trailer has dropped. It's the first trailer.
At my excitement level, I would put basically at through the roof.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
I got full body chills right now.
Eyes up here.
Welcome to Backseat Directing,
Where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
we're your hosts,
Andrew
and Aaron.
we put out new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on this episode, we're reacting to the newest Superman trailer.
3, 2, 1.
Action. Today's a big day, man. This was even like an extra day of us filming, so we can get in there, watch this trailer together, react to it, and be in the conversation because this newest Superman trailer has dropped. It's the first trailer. We got in a teaser, and it was a pretty long teaser with a lot of shots, but no dialogue or information about like what the plot's going to be at all. And you weren't here for our reaction to that.
I wasn't in Colorado, but I filmed a quick clip that you did at the end of the episode.
Yeah, but now we're here. We're like, what, a month away? And we're getting the first trailer? Or are we 2 months away?
Yeah, it's May now, so 2 months.
2 months?
Maybe a month and a half.
That's pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. What are your thoughts right now before we get into the trailer?
I'm incredibly
Your excitement
excited.
level, yeah.
At my excitement level, I would put basically at through the roof, because I'm super excited to see DC's, stepping back onto the stage with their new DCU. I'm excited to see what James Gunn is going to bring. I really, really like the first trailer. I like the vibe of the little snippet that we got with Crypto and the Fortress of Solitude. I'm pumped. I'm super excited for the trailer as well as the drop of the movie. Can't wait to see it on the biggest screen possible. And you?
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped too. I'm excited to see kind of more of the characters kind of performing, rather than just showing off how the movie's going to look.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I think this is going to be a big movie. I've heard some people are putting in our Discord right now that people are making fun of how the CGI looks and stuff. So I'm curious to see what they're talking about because I haven't seen any of the trailer yet. I feel like people like to overreact with that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to get into it. Are you ready?
I am ready. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of Backseat Directing's content.
And
That's
here's
McNeil's voice.
Go.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah,
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
sure.
What?
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for
I
what
know,
some
it's a
might.
lot of fire,
It's a
but-
lot.
Is it role play?
Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with
right.
the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of
I
the
wasn't
United States
representing
will cause
anybody
more
except for me.
problems around the world.
And doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die.
I got full body chills right now.
Eyes up here.
Your choices,
Is that an Arsenal?
your actions. That's what makes you who you are. Superman is not a man.
He's an it. Somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you. You have a dog?
They weren't role playing, huh?
Well, we know she's going to see him as Superman because of the previous trailer, where she's like in that room with him and holding his hand, and they float in the air and kiss. But I'm still thinking potentially that sequence is role playing before maybe she learns he's Superman partway through the movie, because of the line where he says, "This is how you're going to be." Like maybe he means, like, because she says like, "You mock as Superman," right? Which could be her knowing he's Superman, or could be her not knowing he's Superman. But with that line, you know, this is how you're going to be. It seems like he's like, "I'm Clark Kent. This is how you're going to talk to Superman." And then he gets like really into it because he is Superman, and he feels very strongly about whatever conflict it is they're talking about, that he did the right thing. And she's questioning him the same way I assume the public government is questioning him, and I'm sure Lex Luthor. So I think at that point, maybe she doesn't know, but we're going to have to find out when we watch the movie. We know later in the movie she's going to know. They show her kissing him. And
at his house with the dog.
Pretty unmistakable that he's Superman when you're that close to him as Superman. If she's going to be, I know that's like a long storied comic book thing. And like in comics, there's other things he does, like wear baggy clothing and wear glasses and styles his hair differently. But come on.
Yeah, like especially in that interview, it looked just like him.
He wasn't wearing the glasses. Yeah.
And in no way would it be like you would mistake him for being someone else.
Yeah.
What'd you think of everything else? We saw a lot. This looks like it's going to be a 4-hour movie.
So that
there's so many action sequences, it seems.
That woman that he's fighting, I think, is Mercy. I believe that's her name. Lex Luthor has an assistant who's like either a robot or part robot, and she's in a bunch of stuff, like animated stuff that I've seen, and she has like technological based weaponry. She can fire cannons out of her arms. So it looks like that's her, because Lex Luthor walks in behind her in the first sequence where her arms start becoming saws.
This seems like the biggest like superhero world that we've really seen on screen.
I think that
maybe like outside of the X-Men, maybe, but that's kind of a little bit different.
Well, I mean, and Avengers.
Well, Avengers is like, it's an isolated like single group, you know, like this seems like there's a bunch of monsters and a bunch of superheroes and villains, and like there's so many things, you know, like there was only 5 Avengers originally, you know, like it.
But now at this point, there's
but this is the first movie, is what I'm saying. Like this is the world already. It's kind of like we're jumping into Invincible in a way, because that world had all of these superheroes and multiple superhero teams and all that stuff right away without having to show us like the origin of how like humans found out powers exist and aliens exist and all that.
This is part of what I'm so excited about this movie for, is because James Gunn's universe, I think, is going to be really expansive. I mean, we've already got Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. That's kind of a deep pull as far as Green Lanterns go. I mean, normally you go Jon Stewart and forgetting his name.
I don't know the Green Lanterns very well.
But the Prime 2 Green Lanterns are the ones that we're getting in the show. Lanterns. Yeah. It's Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan.
Yes.
And so like he's already pulling out Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl's a great character. I love her in Justice League, the animated series. And not that they're bad characters, they're just not the first round draft picks. Traditionally, we didn't see them in Zack Snyder's world.
Justice League.
Yeah. So I'm excited, and I think that there will be a lot more things drawn more directly from the comics, not only in terms of storylines, but in terms of these characters. Because we did get, in Zack Snyder's version, we got Death of Superman, famous comic book storyline. We got Doomsday killing Superman. But a lot of times we get a lot more of a Snyderfied version of those storylines or those characters, and I think these will be more true to the page, which is really exciting. I don't think that inherently makes the DCEU bad, because I do think there's some good stuff in there with the bad, but I am excited for this version because it feels wholly new. Like, even though DC characters have been done before, this has a totally different feel than the Snyderverse.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely more bright and vivid, and
I don't know how I feel about Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. I know it's very little bit of him to go on from the trailer, but it's not the first person I would have cast for Lex Luthor. He is a very talented actor. It's just not who I would have expected.
why is that, you think?
I just picture when I picture Lex Luthor, I picture him a little bit older, maybe a more square jaw, and with like this deep booming voice that like commands kind of respect
More
and authority.
brooding.
Yeah, more of a higher intensity. I expect to like fear Lex Luthor a little bit, I guess, if that makes sense. Which, I mean, hey, Jesse Eisenberg wasn't right for that either, and you know, Kevin Spacey may not have been the best person. Any of our Lex Luthors haven't been what I envision, because my Lex Luthor that I think of in my brain is, again, Justice League the animated series. That he has a really deep booming voice, and I feel like he has a very authoritative approach where it feels like he walks into a room, has a big presence, commands respect. And so it's, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm don't like him. I don't watch the movie
Yeah,
first, but
yeah.
my trepidation hasn't improved with the trailer, I guess I would say.
I'm impartial, I think, because I haven't seen like the animated shows
Gotta get
with
on
the
that.
Justice League and all of that. So pretty much my only introduction to Lex Luthor is from the DCEU.
Oh
And
my God.
pretty much anything could be better than that, right? I mean, I'm hoping that this will be better than that. But I'm curious to see how they like narrow into the story of this, because it seems like there's a lot going on, you know? And since it is the first film, I think a lot of people who maybe like myself don't have as much knowledge about the background of the world. Like, how are they going to answer a lot of the questions that come up? You know, like,
I think it's about picking which questions need to be answered.
that's
right?
what I was going to bring up.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, what are they going to spend time on explaining to the audience?
Like, when you look at Guy Gardner and he has this bright green ring on his finger and bright green projections, most people, even no idea of Green Lantern, would be like, okay, that ring is making the projections. He's pointing it. You don't really need to know much more than that. You don't need to know about Oa, and you don't need to know about like the Guardians and how they draw power from like.
But it seems like Superman's fighting a bunch of different entities, right? Like, he stopped a war, apparently. He's fighting that giant monster that was in the middle of the city.
That'd be cool.
He's fighting in the middle of the stadium with someone else, you know? So, like, there's a lot of pieces that it seems like he's fighting multiple people or creatures, you know? So I'm curious to see how that, like, all ties in together, you know?
Yeah, I think
I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool.
like we said, I think their battle is going to be in choosing their battles. Like, a kaiju bursts out of the water. We don't need the Pacific Rim explanation of how it came from a portal. You just fight a kaiju. You know, some stuff doesn't need to be explained. We should see why Lex Luthor doesn't like Superman, which it looks like we're getting that, because there's already a line in the trailer where he's like, he's not a man, he's an it. And the core of Lex Luthor's ethos is basically that he doesn't like that Superman has too much power.
Yeah.
He, as a human, doesn't feel like he can trust Superman. So it's like he's xenophobic of Superman coming from another world. He thinks that no one person should have that much power, and he doesn't want anybody to have that much more power than he does, because he's used to his money, his influence, his intelligence giving him everything that he wants.
Yeah.
But that'll never give him what Superman has, which is the ultimate control over his environment, the physical power, you know?
I didn't necessarily love that line.
He's an it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that one,
Yeah.
actually.
Really? Okay.
Because
I think it'll like hit better in the movie.
he is not a human. He's
Yeah.
a Kryptonian. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you see like an alien creature,
It sounds like elementary to me. Like, it's an it. I don't know. I feel like Fang would flow
thing. Yeah,
better.
that might, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it sounds venomous. It's like it. You know, it sounds like he despises him and considers him less than,
Yeah.
you know, which is really this huge overcorrection, because Superman is like more than the average person. It's, you know, obviously coming from a place of
It's not more than, we're all equal.
not the Superman.
Everyone deserves equality.
The key is that Superman thinks that way.
Yeah,
That's important. That's the important part of Superman. Because if he
exactly.
didn't think that way, we'd be cooked. Whereas
Yeah.
DC, people of
We'd have
Metropolis would be
Omni now.
cooked. Yeah. But I'm excited with this trailer. It's weird that they took so long to drop it because like trailers have been dropping nowadays a year in advance, you know,
Well,
9 months in advance.
I'm assuming too, because like they wrapped filming not too long ago, and they showed us a lot of different scenes here. I'm sure they were still working on like a lot of the CGI stuff. You know, like how many of those shots did we just see that had CGI in them?
Most.
Probably all of them outside of their conversation in the room. You know, like so to get it to where the trailer is on an acceptable level to represent the movie, you know, like it takes time sometimes to get all that done.
I think to be fair to Batman versus Superman, they should have had him grow a mustache and then had to remove it in post just to even out any comparisons in the future.
Like just for like the intro of the movie,
That or just all of it.
just the whole movie. Jeez, you don't want this movie to be good at all.
So there's tons to break down in this trailer. I think that one of the big reveals is Mercy. We got Superman getting involved in international global politics, which has been a personal favorite plotline of mine, you know, across Superman storylines. Because when you have a character, Dr. Manhattan, Superman, who lives in a country, how do you talk about their allegiance? You know, that's a big thing with the Avengers during the Civil War era of the storyline in the MCU. Superman is a lot of times depicted as like the boy in blue, American Boy Scout, you know, Eagle Scout type guy. And he's, you know, he's born and raised in, not born, but he's raised in Kansas. So he is pretty all-American in his background. But that's a lot of power for one country to wield. And I think Superman's allegiant to good and to what he thinks is right and not to any one place. So, but the world's not necessarily going to see it that way. So it's cool to see this political aspect already in their first movie. If Superman sees something that's, you know, wrong, he wants to go in and help. But there's always going to be a J. Jonah Jameson out there to critique, you know?
Yeah. I don't think this is going to happen at all. But what would your reaction be if we get in the theater and we're watching and the DCU Batman shows up in this film?
Like a new actor we don't know is.
Yeah. Like we didn't know that they casted them as the Batman, and that's how they like announce it.
I think I'd be super pumped.
That would be the coolest thing.
That would be
right. Like that.
Don't
if they were able to pull that off,
hide that.
That'd be the biggest heist.
Yeah. I'd have a $2 billion movie in my hands.
Of the century. Like that would be insane.
There's no way we should get excited for that in any way.
No,
I think it's insanely unlikely.
Question. Yeah.
It would be really cool.
That'd be one of the coolest theater moments, wouldn't it? Like Batman showed up,
you know?
Dude. And like, I'm definitely reaching here, but what if like that third act, like he was in it?
Oh yeah.
You know, like, dude, that'd be crazy.
Helps fight Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
You know what they could do, which would probably be not too much, is if they did have him show up, but he only showed up as Bruce.
Yeah.
Like if there's some kind of rich fundraiser, Lex Luthor, and
it makes sense.
Bruce Wayne showed up
to do something like that because Batman's already established in this world, and all of these other superheroes are established as well. So, like, it would make sense to kind of nod at it. I doubt that they're going to do that.
That'd be a great way to do it, though.
It'd be so cool to announce who's Batman.
Just like imagine they're in a scene like that, right? And then you hear cameras clicking off, and you hear Mr. Bruce, Mr. Bruce, dude.
Lose my freaking mind.
A shot of like David Cornswit's face, and he like turns around to look to see who it is, unveiling the new actor. That would be so sick.
That'd be the coolest like casting announcement ever.
Just so easy to give fans what they want when it comes to stuff like that. Sometimes, you know.
Yeah, man. There's no way that's ever going to be possible. People find out. People, you know, like they're too nosy.
They'd have to do it later in the movie because if they did it in the opening, it'd be like too cool.
Yeah,
it'd be hard to calm down.
Yeah, it would have to be like towards the end, like I said, the third act or something.
Yeah. He just goes at the end and he's like reporting on something at an event, you know, and just slide that in there. That would be a great idea.
Right. I want to kind of wrap this episode up because I want to keep it short and digestible for the trailer reaction. But I have one last question for you. How many times do you think you'll see this in theaters before it comes out?
I'm
Or
gonna.
this summer? How many times do you think you'll see it?
I'll just settle at 2 to 3. I probably wouldn't see more than 3.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I think that's fair.
at least 2 though.
Yeah.
Bare minimum. Because I'm gonna see it in IMAX, and then I'll have the urge to see it again at a theater closer to home.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'll say definitely one. I don't go to the theater twice for the same movie very often, but depends on the movie, I guess.
Could be good enough.
Yeah.
I think the special effects look good. I had no complaints really.
Yeah,
with the trailer.
I don't have any complaints either.
Yeah. The flames
and like
look cool.
we're just seeing like small shots of it, you know, like it's gonna look different. They're still working on the movie, first of all. And second of all, like we're gonna see the whole scene put together in the theater, you know, rather than just like a little clip.
Yeah.
Little glimpse from it.
You need to be sucked up in the scene.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
But-
the action looks really good. That crater he created when he fell out of the sky, and seeing a regular human come and pull him up out of it, I was like, oh my god, this feels like Spider-Man 2 when everybody's carrying it down along the train. It's really thick.
But well, yeah, what do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments below your excitement level for this new Superman movie. It's going to be the start of the DCU, so a lot of anticipation for this movie coming out, and there's a lot riding on this movie for the company DC. So we're curious to see what you guys think. If you want to join in on the conversation on a more personal level, you can click the link in the description of this video for our Discord. Discord is where there's like a bunch of different like categories and stuff of this like giant group chat where we have Andrew and I in there, and some of our friends and fans of the show who have joined in. And we just talk about movies, shows, new trailers. Some people were already talking about the Superman trailer in there this morning.
I mean, this trailer's been up for 6 hours and it has over 5 million views. It had 4 million when we started this video.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, their first teaser was one of the highest viewed trailers of any superhero movie, I think.
It says 303,000 likes already in 6 hours.
Yeah, so people are very excited for this movie. So if you want to join and talk with us about it,
you need an
join our
outlet.
Discord. Yeah,
We got you right here. We got passionate
Exactly.
people who care about this type of shit in our Discord.
and what do the people need to do to join?
Oh, well, I mean, there's a key that's hidden at a secret location.
Yeah.
So you've got to solve these riddles to get a map, right?
Yes.
And then there's a hike through Machu Picchu. It's a secret trail. You have to go around back to find the key.
Yes.
But in actuality, in all seriousness, it is completely. You just click on a link. It's in the description. Just
That's
click.
it. That's it. It's very easy.
It could have been a map with riddles to a key in another country. It could have been, but it's
Could have
not.
been. Yeah. We put that on our like whiteboard of strategy to launch how to connect with our audience more. And we're like, maybe we'll do that next year.
Maybe a radical marketing theme
Yeah.
for the future.
Yeah. But thanks so much for watching, and that's a wrap.